Okay, I'm going to be going over the Chapter 1, Lesson 5, the Enlightenment, Part 1 assignment from today. It is not due until September 21st, which is Monday, and it will be due, this should actually be changed, it will be due before class. Okay? So, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go ahead and open it in Teams. And then once I open it in Teams, I'm going to go to Edit Document. I'm going to hit Edit. And for this assignment, you can read that top if you want, but remember you will not need the textbook today because I left the questions in here. So we copied and pasted these from the PowerPoint, and I posted them in our last meeting chat as well. These are our two objectives. Up here is our content objective, and down here is our skill objective. So content is we're trying to explain the ideas of natural law, Thomas Hobbes, and John Locke. And if you guys remember from the class today, the why we're learning this is because these ideas will help shape our government that we have today. The people who begin our government are inspired by some of the ideas we'll be talking about in this chapter, the Enlightenment. Our skill objective is I can answer. I moved my mic away from my face. I feel like it was too close, and I know how annoying that can be. Sorry. Anyways, back to the assignment. I can answer several questions by restating, answering in my own words, and then citing evidence that supports my answer. And you got to make sure that this evidence, because this is one thing we're going to be focused on in 8th grade, this evidence that you cite has to support your answer. It has to be relevant to what you wrote for your answer. Okay, so part 1, directions, advances in learning. So this is the section I'm reading. Step 1, read the section, advances in learning. Step 2, then answer question 1 under the text about the text, advances in learning. So you got 2 paragraphs here that are talking about universities and learning in the Middle Ages. So this is a review of some stuff we would have learned in 7th grade. And then down here, we have question 1. And I see directions for the questions. It's worth 5 points. Here's my directions. I need to restate and then answer in my own words. Okay? And then I have to cite evidence to support my answer. And then I want to use this sentence starter. Well, luckily, oh, and also it's got to be 2 sentences, right? Because you see one in blue, one in purple. Luckily, Mr. Duffy, I'm thinking out loud as if I'm a student, he's already given me the restate here. So that means taking the question and turning it into the beginning of a sentence. My question is, how did freedom from political or religious officials affect teachers and students in the universities of the Middle Ages? All right, so I'm going to read that. I'm going to try to figure out what that means, and my restate is going to be freedom from political and religious officials affected teachers and students in the universities of the Middle Ages because. So I got to find a piece of evidence in here that will tell me how freedom from these officials affected teachers and students. And I got to write that in my own words, because that's what it's asking me to do here. And then whatever piece of text I base that on will go in here. And don't forget, when you're typing, you can click down and pull and drag like that, and then you can type the quote in there. All right? Okay. So most of the questions are very similar to that. Part 2, Thomas Aquinas and natural law. Step 1, read the section. Step 2, answer the questions, just like above. Okay, so you're going to read that. And then, so directions for the questions. You're going to have 2 different things here. So one is just says citing evidence, and this one says directions for question 3. So in the citing evidence one, it says cite one piece of evidence to answer this question. What was the idea of natural law? So I got to find in the text somewhere where it tells me what natural law was. Got a sentence starter. I got to make sure to complete it because it looks like Mr. Duffy only typed according to the text. So I got to make sure to include the last part of that, Thomas Aquinas and natural law. It states. And then one piece of advice, because you guys might be a little confused because this is from the last paragraph. I don't want this one to be about what Aquinas argued. I want this one to tell me what was the idea of natural law. And then question 3. What did Aquinas argue natural law did? See how this one's asking you to explain the argument?